The important thing what you understand from coaching is why you're behaving the way you're behaving. The moment any leader knows why they are behaving the way they are behaving, they have two choices. One is they can continue the same way or they can change their behavior. So ideally, coaching is all about changing their behavior. And this I learned from myself also, because the moment you understand your trigger and pattern about your behaviors, basically the root cause of your behavior, which you want to change, and once you understand. So for that, even in coaching, we go to the person's childhood, we curated some activities regarding it, how to understand when they develop their child ego state or adult ego state, and what is the journey for a person, and how their patterns are developed over a period of time. So that is what is a great learning for me from this coaching journey.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Resilient Leader Show again with me, Dona Amelia. I'm so blessed, so happy, very grateful to always have the listener who always really giving me a good feedback, and also for those who not yet being the subscriber in the YouTube or in any channels, please do. It's gonna help us to really like always wanted to invite great speakers, great guests from across the globe, just like today. Pallavi Tamboli. Hi, Pallavi. How are you, dear?
Thank you, Donna. I'm really good, and thanks for having me on your show. I'm really excited to be part of this.
Absolutely. And for those who are just tuning in and just know you, please tell us about your leadership journey, who you are, and where you are now.
Yeah, thank you so much, Donna. It's been an exciting journey, more than 20 years into organizational development and coaching journey. I'm a PCC certified coach. I'm also EMCC. I have done my neuro-linguistic programming from London. It's basically to understand, how thinking, feeling, and acting works. I've also done psychotherapy. I thought it's very important to understand a human brain, and also healing is important, not only coaching. I've been coaching leaders for now 20 years, and it will be an exciting journey because, of course, you learn a lot from leaders, and that's how you actually make that development journey very peaceful. Thank you so much.
Mm, yes, absolutely. After coaching, I know PCC needs to be, I would say, more than 500 hours or more, maybe a
Yes,
thousand and
yes,
thousand
yes,
and thousand of hours, right? What
yes,
have you
correct.
learned from all this coaching session that you do with leaders? What are the patterns that emerge, and what like it teach you to the person who you are today?
So one of the things which coaching teaches me is that ICF has curated a very nice framework around it. That's one, and there are a lot of competencies which are very useful. The important thing what you understand from coaching is why you're behaving the way you're behaving. The moment
Mm,
any leader knows why they are behaving the way they are behaving, they have two choices. One is they can continue the same way or they can change their behavior. So ideally, coaching is all about changing their behavior. And this I learned from myself also, because the moment you understand your trigger and pattern about your behaviors, basically the root cause of your behavior, which you want to change, and once you understand. So for that, even in coaching, we go to the person's childhood, we curated some activities regarding it, how to understand when they develop their child ego state or adult ego state, and what is the journey for a person, and how their patterns are developed over a period of time. So that is what is a great learning for me from this coaching journey.
absolutely. As a coach myself, I can like really understand where you're coming from. And indeed, I think coaching is really helpful because yes, you
Yeah.
understand yourself even more. And as a coach ourselves, before even we coach other, actually we coach ourselves, right? It's like
Yes,
peeling a
correct.
layer of the onion of ourselves. And the more we understand ourselves, the more we might be able to help others can
Correct.
relate to others, right? And talking
Yeah,
about this triggers and behaviors, which is I also
correct.
really fascinating about this. It's like understanding the emotional intelligence,
Correct.
understanding your own like like emotion triggers. So then you will be able to choose what is your
Correct.
response,
Correct.
right? Instead of
Correct. Correct.
reacting and so on.
Correct. Correct.
So for you, what would be your advice to the people who not yet understand their triggers to be
Mhm.
understanding their triggers, but also able to respond instead of react. What would be your advice to them?
So I feel that, people are always confused between coaching and mentoring and counseling. Okay. Coaching is a different ball game altogether. And many people doesn't know that, what is going to happen in that 1 hour, why it is going to be such a life-changing event for me. But that's what I said. It's about you. And as you rightly said, it's like an onion. The more you understand about yourself, the more you are more in a position to change yourself. Because
Mm,
what happens is change is the only constant thing. So if you don't do internal changes, external change anyway is going to force you to do it. So
mm,
whenever the leaders are going from individual contributor to a people manager, we always say that it's very important for you to undergo coaching, because that's how your belief system is going to change. Because everything is relieved around the belief system. We believe in something and then we try to do that. For example, when we are giving respect, it is always important that we demand respect. So this is how we need to respond to the situation, and it has to be assertive. So there are a lot of leadership competencies which comes into picture. When you
mm.
always say that what is my belief system I'm working on, it's been my success strategy for so long, but then is it working for me now? The answer may be no. So you really need to change your belief system to change your success strategy. I think that will be my take on this question.
That's great. Thank you so much. And for you yourself, is there any moment in your life, right, regardless when you're coaching the leaders or not, that really you feel like you are in the rock bottom? I would love to hear that story and what makes you like strong to go up and what you do to make yourself more resilient and learning from that.
The important thing is that when I've done a coaching and I've taken coaching myself, so when I
Mm,
was going through the journey, the one thing I deliberately done is taking a coaching for myself. The one of the important thing happened to me, I'm very well aware of my strength as well as weaknesses.
mm,
And that's what actually helped me build my potential, that this is the area where I can do wonders, and this is the area maybe I'll use my strength to improve on my weaknesses. So I will
mm,
not say weaknesses, but yes, you sharpening your strength is also important, and that's what I learned from the coaching. Many leaders I've seen that whenever they are sitting in front of you, they will say, I don't do this, I don't do that, I don't do that, because they're mainly talking about the development areas. Whereas
mm.
I say, tell me about your strength. The moment you ask them, they start thinking. So this actually Oran is to be changed in coaching, and that's what happened to me. And I think that was the strongest moment when I started doing that, that I started sharpening my strength. For
Mm.
example, two of my strengths I can say is one of the quick decision making and one is the crisis management, which actually very important in entrepreneur business, because the journey has been quite exciting for me. And sometimes you have good days and sometimes you have bad days. But if you know what is the value you're putting on a table, it's very very important to you that this competency helps you. And the important part in coaching, what happens is that you are aware of it, that this is what my strength is and this is how I'm going to win the war.
I think it's a good reminder if we
Yeah,
understand our strength and our weaknesses, it will
correct.
help, right? Because we can take it from there, what to improve and so on. But
Sure.
what then if people did not know or did not understand their strength?
Hmm.
Probably maybe because not many people reflect about it, but then
Yeah,
or maybe they feel like, oh, what kind of strength? Is it like strength in terms of the soft skill or what? Like for example, I do the VIA strength finder, so then
correct, correct,
I
correct,
love it because I know then my strength is a value strength is honesty,
hmm.
love, kindness, humor, and
Correct,
spirituality. That's for me,
correct,
right? This is from VIS strength, but I also do the Gallup strength finder as
correct,
well.
correct,
So
correct,
for me, maybe that's helped to understand what is my strength. What
correct,
about
correct.
other people who not really do all those tests? Are they gonna say based on their feeling of what their strength or what?
So, one good way of when you say test, but even in test, you need to validate with the coachee that this is what your test is saying. Is it really you are? Because many a times the test might go wrong. So I deliberately don't use a lot of tests. There are certain tests I use, but as you rightly said, don't people do not have this advantage or don't believe in the test. For them, coaching conversation is the best way to do it, because coaching conversation is very deep It's very insightful. And if you see in my coaching, I've curated some exercises around these strength finding things wherein person herself or himself knows it, and which are very situational based, which we'll call it as, experiential learning types. So in that you understand your strength, and believe me, Donna, that everybody knows their strength. It's only the point that, they have to open their subconscious mind and start thinking that, what was my success strategy, again I'm saying, and what led me there. It not necessary behavioral skill, it might be functional skill also, because of which we reach to the level which we are, because they are going up the ladder, they are not coming down. So it is a strength of yours which is taking you up, and some or the other way we know it that this is my strength. Only thing is we are not vocal about it. Now, the coaching conversation, what happens is we make people talk about it and experiment it. See,
Yeah.
coaching is not only the 1 hour conversation, it's also important that after that, what we do. After that,
Hmm.
are we experimenting that or not? So, my coaching is mainly focused on that what happens between two coaching sessions when you have 15-20 days gap, what you do with that coaching. So
Hmm.
that's where you understand your strength and you implement your strength. So that's
Hmm.
what my strategy is about coaching.
Nice, nice. And for you yourself, how do you find your own strength? Did you do a lot of coaching session also with another coaches? And how's your journey looks like when you are really like from the very beginning, for example, to now that you really leading, coaching many CEOs across the globe, right? How's your journey looks like at the beginning?
So I've been coaching for now 10 years because I've done my PCC 10 years back, 9 to 10 years back. When I started this, it was a very new field at that time, comparatively new field than now, because now you'll find a lot of coaches there. When I started, the first thing I've done that, as I said, I've taken coaching for myself, which helped me build my own interpersonal strength and potential and capabilities. I started experimenting with leaders, and the moment I started experimenting with leaders, I started creating my own exercises which I use in coaching. So, based on a person, for example, I've also done a transactional analysis, okay, which talks about your ego state or your injunction or triggers. So I curated some of the exercises around it so that person knows about it, exactly how it works for him or her. So that's been my journey. Secondly, the more leader you meet, and for example, cross culture is very different because I'm based in India, but India, the leaders are very different than Singapore and then US and UK. So it's very different kind of cross cultural combination because what works in India may not work in Singapore. So likewise, you have to change your coaching style as per the culture also, as per the leader also, because CFO might have a very different thinking than the CEO and CIO. So you really need to do your homework very nicely. You really need to know everything about business. It's not only that you only know about your function like human resources. It doesn't work that way. So you really need to know end-to-end product line, AOPs, balance sheet before you talk to that leader, because they want everything very instant. So if you can't talk their language, it's very difficult to coach a person. So over the period of time, I also improve my competencies. Also, I've done a lot of courses. Like last year, I was telling I was in NCR doing my 1 year leadership program, which was really helped me in getting more and more understanding of business, product portfolios, marketing, and everything. So that's how I've been building my skill over a period of time.
Nice. And I understand that one of your defining moment in your career was when you were leading a cultural integration of two
Correct, correct.
organization, right? During a merger. What did
Correct.
that experience teach you about leading people through uncertainty and change? Because now it
Hmm.
is the time of
Correct,
uncertainty and
correct,
change. Yeah.
correct.
Please.
So it was a very great experience, and initially we were also thinking that how is going to happen because it was a very giant organization, cultural integration. So mainly people talk about how is going to be the strategy, the ROI, the finances, the functional merger, and all that. But more than that, we also need to talk about people who are going to lead it. Now,
Mm,
important factor here is that there is a lot of fear, and the fear of uncertainty. What is going to happen to me? Now that's what is where in the we come into picture, where in cross cultural integration very important, because we need a human touch there. So
Mm,
what we need to do is that we actually need to structure our entire governance around it, the communication pattern around it. It is from top to bottom and it has to be very, very transparent. The important factor what we have done is was a very transparent communication that every day what was happening. So there was a newsletter flowing in, there was an open house getting in, there is a culture plus survey which was happening. So every time we are checking the pulse of our people and understanding what is happening because policies are merging, comp and ben are merging, everything is merging in the organization. But how about the feelings and emotions of any person? Because there is a fear: am I going to lay off from this company? Is it a fear that am I going to
mm,
stay? My payment is going to cut. So there are a lot of
mm,
kind of fear and uncertainty which goes on. So that's why we actually created that governance structure. We kept the open dialogue with people and try to actually listening, what
mm,
they are not saying. Because
mm.
most of the time people are, resisting the change. But it's also we look at as an opportunity that what is the people are fearing of and that you need to address. The moment you address that, your integration is successful.
Yeah, two keywords that emerge to me, fear and listening, right? I think
Correct.
listening is very, very important traits now as a
Correct.
leader, right? Because
Correct.
like leaders cannot communicate people out of uncertainty without first listening to them, right?
Correct.
Like
Correct.
listening, as you rightly say, what are their fear, right? What
Mm,
really they scare about. So do you
correct.
think listening is often most overlooked leadership skills during the time of uncertainty, you think?
It's not only an uncertainty, Nona. Unfortunately, in a lot of situations, because people are very
Mm,
busy right now, okay, and especially leaders at the top. See, in ICF, they have kept active listening as one of the competency, and we are trained on that. And I tell all my leaders, don't only listen what people are saying, try and
mm.
listen what they're not saying.
Agreed.
Many time the person comes into your cabin and he's frustrated, but as a leader you're busy. You don't seem to even have a 2 minutes to talk to your subordinate and ask him what happened because you look very different than usual. So we are not listening the body language what the person has, and we are only judging a person, just I want my work to get done. But this is not
Mm,
what has happened. So listening has a very, very important part in every day, even for our kids also, even for parents also, for everybody. It's very important that what are you doing in your day-to-day life.
absolutely. I think listening is very important and listening with empathy, with the whole,
Correct.
you know, like active listening is really to understand. Listen
Correct.
to understand, listen to empathy, listen to really want to know like what could we do better for this person, right?
Correct.
Not just
Correct.
listen
Correct.
to get the information and then, okay, I know, that's it. No, but as you rightly say, I agree with you because I'm a coach myself. It's very
Mm.
important for us to be able to really
Correct.
connect
Correct.
deeply during our conversation to
Correct.
listen to what their needs and what they want to really like get out from themselves, right? From the body language, from the wording, and so on. Now, I
That's
would
correct.
love to talk about resistance. You believe that resistance is not only about opposition, right?
Correct.
But often valuable information. Now, talking about this, like
Mm.
how can we as a leader shift our mindset to see resistance, right, as an opportunity rather than a barrier?
Okay. So it's a very interesting question because as I earlier said, I think the resistance leaders should see it as an opportunity to
Mhm.
understand a person. Also, one point here is the leader needs to see in themselves, is
Yeah.
there anything resisting inside? So sometimes there's a conflict in our values inside that, we get
Mm,
resisted by our own values,
mm,
and our thinking or belief process. So that's one which is internal. External, I feel, is you see it as an opportunity because people want to say something, or simply there is a need to be included, and people resist,
okay.
and we just ignore it.
Mm,
So it's like a child that he wants to have your attention and he just do throws some tantrums sometimes. So it's like that. So leaders should see it as more of what the person wants to say, or it's about inclusion or not. So I think that will solve rest of the problem. Also, it's important that you have a heart to heart conversation with the person I know people might not have that much time, but you don't need a long time. It's a lunch break or coffee break are enough to have these talks that I heard this is what is troubling you. Can we talk about it? It's a simple conversation will really help them. I think that is my take on resilience.
Yes, yes. Thank you for so much for sharing about that. So
Yeah.
then I'd love to also understand your view on this after, like talking to many people, many leaders, helping them to grow, helping them to
Yeah.
understand themselves,
Yeah.
helping them to lead their companies and all, right? So what does resilient means to you, for you yourself?
Resilience means to me that, it's not only bouncing back, but, and many leaders I've seen putting that artificial mask, saying that they demonstrate that they're resilience, but somewhere in crisis situation, you see the real. That's why resilience in me is more of how you're balancing your emotional quotient. And believe me, Donna, it comes very hard way. It's not an easy task to do because it you need your ears, to be in that. Sometimes if people are, brought up like that, coached like that over a period of time, it comes very easy for them. But for me, resilience is more like balancing your emotions rather than, only bouncing back to.
Mm, okay, balancing emotion. That's interesting. So for those, the listener who cannot or not yet able to balance their emotion, what will be your tips for them?
So, first of all, and that's a very interesting question because whenever sometimes, I experience that any leader sitting in front of me and ask them, how are you feeling today? So, they are just thinking about because they don't know what am I feeling today. So, first of all, they can't name the feel. So
Normally they
naming
just
the
said,
feel,
I'm good,
yeah,
I'm
I'm
okay.
good. Yeah, I'm angry, frustrated. I'm this, that. They just can't, speak it out. So first thing you need to do is please accept that this is what I'm feeling today
Mm, okay.
and then process it. It's like it's
Mm,
very important that you process it. Otherwise, it's very difficult for you, that you will not be able to balance it. Even you are angry, even you have any kind of feeling on the earth, it's important that you acknowledge, and process it. Otherwise, this is going to store in your body itself. And then you know that there's a very different things happen to people because of the stress because they cannot let it out because everybody do not have a best friend or somebody else to share with or let it go. So most of the people have very different problem of letting their feelings go, which are negative feelings, of course, not the positive feeling, but the important is that I accept and I process.
okay. What will be the next step after accept and process then?
Acceptance process, and then that's what the coaching conversations start coming in, wherein I know that this is not a good behavior for me, and that's what I said
Mm,
at the starting of that podcast that you know I understand this is what is my behavior is. Now I understand with coaching conversation that where it is coming from, what is the root cause, what is the trigger and pattern, why I'm feeling every time I get into this situation I'm getting this trigger, why I'm getting this trigger. The moment you know that there are two ways of doing it, that I continue doing that because it's my choice, or I want to change my behavior completely. So next time whenever I'm into that situation, I am capable myself to change it, nobody
mm.
else overcome me. Okay.
Absolutely. And I
Mm.
joined this Harvard Executive Education and learned from Robert Waldinger. He teach
Uh-huh.
me also about this respond versus react, basically.
Correct,
He
correct, correct,
create this model called wiser model.
correct,
Watch, interpret, and then select, engage, and react. So once thing happen to us, any triggers happen to us, right? We need to watch, which is like what you rightly
correct,
say, accept, understand, okay, this is the feeling, this is happening, right? Watch what
correct,
happened
correct,
to me. And
correct,
then interpret. Interpret is the moment where we tell, okay, what is it? What am I telling myself? Am I telling myself that I'm very angry? Am I very sad? Or is it really to me or is it to the situation? Right?
correct,
And in
correct,
those two moments, meaning you're taking a pause, right?
correct,
To accept, to understand before
correct.
you immediately react. Because sometimes, right,
Mm.
we as a human being with our amygdala, our part of the brain that is really try to protecting us, when things happen, we immediately react, right? But sometimes the best is to utilize our prefrontal cortex to be
Correct.
able to decide better, to respond instead of react. So this is the wiser model is come in. So after that, watch and interpret what is happening, which is in the posing mode, and then you select. S stand for select. You select what is the best option for you
Correct. Correct.
response, right? So that is
Yeah.
the S, and then E stands for engage. After you
Correct.
select your option for you to respond certain way or to do things in a certain way, then you engage. Engage means you do it. You
Correct.
you do
Correct.
what you have selected,
Correct.
basically.
Correct. Correct.
And then the R stands for the basically you do the reflection of it. So
Correct.
you
Correct.
see what can you do better next time, or what can you avoid, and so on. So
Correct.
I think
Correct.
that's very, very interesting model, the wiser
Yeah.
model.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's easier said than done, but as you
Yeah.
rightly say, the first step is always to accept, to
Correct.
understand, and this is
Correct.
happening, this is my feeling, and then to
Correct.
process it, meaning you pause, right? Not
Correct.
immediately react, because when you
Yeah.
react, normally you will be regret later because you didn't think through, right? And then you choose your option and so on. So thank you.
Correct. Correct. Thank you so much, Dona.
Yeah, I learned a lot from you today, Pallavi.
Same
Thank
here.
you so very much for your time, and then for your generous knowledge that you share with us. I believe people learn a lot from you as well. One last thing, how important it is for leaders to have a coach nowadays to help them with their resilient journey, to shape them to be more resilient leaders.
I feel every leader should have one coach because the workplace are becoming more and more complex.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that might be for a lot of reasons. First of all, is technology changing. The generation is very different from the previous generation. So their expectations, their trust ownership definition of trust ownership is very very different. And in all of this, you keep your cool and keep yourself resilient is becoming a task for leaders now. So I feel that is second. The third one is like in times of COVID also we see that the working life has completely changed and many people couldn't manage it. So that's what another problem why you really need to manage, because coaches are coming from a very very learned environment. They learn some tactics how to handle it. So I feel all leaders should take benefit of this kind of programs and actually should get themselves help. Yeah.
Absolutely good. So thanks again for
Thank you,
joining
Donna.
us. Yes, really, really grateful to have you with us. And thank you so much for all the listener. Please stay tuned with the Resilient Leader Show with me, Dona Amelia, for the next episode, because we promise to always give you a great speaker who can bring a lot of knowledge for all of you. And for those who not yet subscribed to the YouTube channel and all our social media platforms, please do, because that's going to help us to grow our knowledge, but also grow our influence throughout the world. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.